Hey everybody, so we are back for another Country Roads Take Me Home. We're going to take a bunch of these unique roads south of Schaefferstown. We just crossed into Lebanon County maybe less than a mile ago. I just sort of figured, you know what, we're going to go through some roads. I was doing a couple videos on hometown foundations, get that series going again with Brickerville and Clay. We're also going to try to do Schaefferstown up here as well, and I'm doing a bunch of shorts. So I was hoping to find Penryn Park. I found Penryn Park, but I did not find the place where the gas station, or not, I say gas, train station. My brain is not working today. Never seems to work anymore. But anyways, I decided let's do a Country Road Take Me Home, and we'll take some of these cool back roads, some of the neat little towns that are in this area. There's a little town called Buffalo Springs. Just a bunch of unique roads, just pretty little country roads out through here, which is the whole purpose of that series. So we're just going to take random roads. I went on a couple today that I hadn't gone on before. I was down in Ephrata, and I was like, I missed one of the historic markers. I was like, darn it. But I hadn't been down in Ephrata for a while. I went down to the one video game place, I'll admit. Find something to do this weekend just to relax me a little bit. There's a couple cool games I used to play and have, and I'm now in a place where I can afford to have that again. So, but anyways, Miller Towing. I wonder if that's the Miller Towing that I used to use. Pretty little roads back through here. I'm hoping we're gonna get maybe the first of the Cherry Festival videos. I think I'm gonna combine the festival itself where the tents were. I'm gonna combine that with the different groups that were showing off the old American crafts. I got the woodworker video put together yesterday, edited and all that. So I'm gonna do, there was some ladies that were weaving yarn or string, cotton string, and then there was also a sawmill that was operating and a blacksmith as well. So I'm gonna put those together with the festival thing and put that out, I'm hoping, in the next couple days. And then I gotta split up some of the Fort Loudon stuff. I had said on the video, whether it's on any of the videos, we're gonna make a left here. I know exactly. We visited here before. This is one of the early videos. It's commonly referred to as Michter's Brewery, but it's also as Bumberger's Brewery. This was the oldest brewery. The only thing that is left is this white building here. I'm not quite sure what that was, but there also was a building here. Oh yeah, the old, I guess it's like the brew. You can see it there. That was on the top of the old building. I will throw up a picture for you guys, and there's another one of the buildings that still exists. But so here's a couple pictures of what the old factory used to look like. It was actually a pretty cool and impressive place, and that's the one building that still exists. But like I said, they do have, this is the Bumberger's Distillery. They actually run, I think, that in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. They use the name, and there's a Michter's Brewery again. They bought the name and the recipes, and it runs out of Kentucky, and they make all these different whiskeys, like a sour mash whiskeys and bourbons, and you can still buy that awesome brand today. But this whole area there was full of, it was massive brewery. A lot like Yuengling's, where it was an old style brewery from the 1700s, and I think it was in the 90s when it finally officially closed down, because a couple different people tried to buy it in like some of those estate sales or whatever, and they attempted to bring back the brewery, but it just never took. And the buildings too were in such poor shape. But there are some of those, the labels, the names, they are still out there. I believe there's one down in Kentucky, because I think they made some kind of bourbon, perhaps. I'll have to look at that. But it was really, really cool that the names are still out there for a couple of the different labels of the different brews that they put out for that distillery and brewery. But yeah, for a long time it was that oldest brewery, and then it eventually became defunct, but it had several different names. The one family owned it, I think, until the 1860s, and then it got sold off. I believe it was originally, they were Swiss Mennonites that owned it first in the 1700s, and then it was another family, I think that was the Bumburgers, that took it over, and eventually got sold, and I think around after World War I and then World War II again, and after World War II, that's when it became Michter's Brewery. But I remember going by there and all the old buildings still existed, but they were really falling down at that stage, and it was just sort of sad. That is still on the registry of historic buildings or places. Probably shouldn't be anymore, just because there's only one building left. It's a cool old barn. There's some moo-moos in there too. This ought to be interesting. It went from like very nice road to but anyways, it has a lot of history, and we'll have to do, I did a short, like it was a long form video, but sort of shorter. I don't think I went into the history a ton. I'm not really sure what road I'm on at this stage. I'm sure Jay can answer that and look at it and figure it out. That's so, like, just look at how pretty that is, like the little hollow, and you know, it's the cow fields and all that, but still just very pleasant. I have a feeling we might have to turn around here at some point. Slow! Well, I'm going slow, buddy. Can't really go fast on this road, because I guess it's a road. It's a pretty stonework there. I'm hoping this takes us back out to somewhere, because if not, we'll be traveling back this road again. It just sort of, I used to go back through here to deliver papers for the Patriot News a long time ago, but I never went back on this road. So this is one of those roads you're like, I don't know if I made a good choice, but no dust. Well, sorry buddy, but you live on this road, and if it's dusty, come out with a blower and take care of it. Now I'm really starting to get concerned. I'm hoping this leads somewhere and goes back out into civilization, but regardless, it makes for a good video. As long as we don't get attacked by a wild bear. I'm hoping that was not a gate, that you're not allowed back here. Oh, there's another one, so maybe not. That's just an old fence where probably used to be. Wow. I don't know if you could have a field right there, but this is the point. This is an adventure. We have no idea where we are. I certainly have no idea where we are. Hopefully we're actually going somewhere. And hopefully it's somewhere nice, and it doesn't involve banjos and screaming and pigs and whatnot. Oink, 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 oink. 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 You know what I'm talking about, and you get that reference, you know exactly why there's a small bit of fear deep within this heart of mine. As courageous as it is, it has limits. Okay, cool. It's looking like we're getting back into normal. Looks a little more diplomatic. Oh, there's it's somebody's driveway. Oh, we're back on paved roads. I think we're gonna live this one through. It isn't gonna turn into Blair Witch Project or anything like that, or Deliverance, which I really would not like it to have to turn into that. That would be bad. I think I know where this is actually going to take us out to. it's not really terribly large area out through here. There's another, look at that stone barn, man. That is, I love how they have the red sandstone sort of as the accents on the corners of the barn. Just always found it so neat. That's something that's reasonably common out here. It's just sort of how they did things, and it's just very, very pretty. Corn is finally starting to grow, which is nice. It's actually turned into quite the cool little drive here. I'd like to take you guys through into Buffalo Springs. Why it's called that, I guess we'll have to have a short video on that and say, why is it called that? And I'm sure there's a reason, I just don't know what it is. But it's one of these cool little towns, like you have Kleinfeldersville, Buffalo Springs. There's a couple other ones that are in the general region that are just really neat little towns, and just some gorgeous old stone buildings from late 1700s, maybe mid 1700s on a couple of those. Because it's actually sort of shocked, like Brickerville and Clay, which are south, and you get on 322, where 322 meets Route 501. That's, yeah, I know exactly where we are. We're getting on Route 419 here. I like the cupola that's on top of that barn there. It's a really neat little house, but this is Route 419. If you go left here, that'll take you out to Cornwall, and then we're going to go back to Schaefferstown. And we'll actually get to go, I believe, through Buffalo Springs. So we'll go spring back through there. It's actually called Schaeffer Road after Alexander Schaeffer. And hopefully we'll be able to do, I want to do a little one on Baron von, poop. That's closed. I want to go to Buffalo Springs. Well, I guess that's not going to happen. Oh, geez, that was bumpy. I know where this will, actually that might not, I'm trying to think what that name of it, I think it's 419. Maybe not 4, maybe we're going to 419 now, but back that way is the way that takes you to Buffalo Springs, but they have everything closed off, which sort of irritates me, because there's some really, really neat old stone houses out through there. But I think what we are going to do, since trying to put together a plan here, and don't really have a plan. Apparently there's a town called Flintville here somewhere. We are going to go through Schaefferstown and let you guys see some of the cool sights. And who knows, maybe we'll stop in Schaefferstown and we will do a walking of the main, and you guys can get to see some of the neat houses through there. And also then we can go and see what the symbol, the logo of the Hometown Historian channel is. The, if you're Wiggly or Wiggly, something like that, Wiggly mansion, he was a businessman back in the Gilded Age, you know, the 1880s, 1870s, 1880s, and he had that mansion built. And I used the tower as a silhouette of that as the logo of the channel, because just, I absolutely love that building. It's just gorgeous. So maybe we'll do a little bit of a walkie walk in Schaefferstown and take a peek at some of the really neat homes there. Just allow you guys to experience and enjoy the architecture there, especially in that square where I think it's Market Street meets what would be, I think that's 497, Route 497, but it's the main street in Schaefferstown meets Market Street, which Market Street is the one that goes over to the old Schaefferstown Water Company, or what was that, where that was the oldest, I believe, the oldest chartered water company in North America, that Alexander Schaeffer wound up making for the residents of that town. It's quite cool. It says South 5th Avenue, which that's coming east from Lebanon, but there is a route number on this. It's Route 419, yeah, and I think the other one is 497. I'm probably wrong on that, but anywho, there's a number of them that come together here, and then they will continue through Schaefferstown. And if you go out through past Schaefferstown, you go out to Kleinfeldersville, eventually get to Middle Creek, bunch of neat little towns out through there. Now we'll go back to, start going back to 897. It's not 497, 897. But there is that road that goes back there to Cornwall, which apparently you can't go on right now, which is stupid. But that's the one that takes you back to that town, Buffalo Springs. But we'll have to go there at some point and ask the question, why is it called that? But I have that old Images Across America, or the Postcards Across America. It's one of those two. I think it's that one's Images, because Myerstown, I believe, is the Postcards Across America, because that was put together by Donald Brown, who runs the Museum of Dedeology, which is the study of postcards. And postcards were very, very big late 1800s, early 1900s. And there was a really phenomenal photographer in this area. I believe his name was Luther Harpel. And he actually had a store called Harpel's that was like office and stationery and photography was a big thing there. And he, especially in that time period, early 1900s, like that Victorian Edwardian era, was really phenomenal. A lot of those old photographs that exist of that time period are all from him. So, but anyways, going back through there, he has a bunch of pictures that he took in those areas, you know, turn of the century. And the I'm trying to think what the name of the car dealership. My dad was good friends with them, and they have an airport back there. This is a shame I can't think of the name, but my dad was real good friends with the Keller brothers. I think the guy's name was Mark Keller, and my dad was good friends with him. And that's right there where they have Buffalo Springs, is old stores. I think it was an old gas station back in the early 1900s. You know, and even it has that look that it would have been a service station. You know, maybe a Standard Oil even, who knows. But yeah, and here's the village of Schaefferstown. Interesting thing to note is it wasn't originally called Schaefferstown, it was called Heidelberg. I was right, it is 419 south. So this is 897 and that's 419. And that's the way you would turn there, and that would take you back through past Keller Brothers, but I'm not risking going through there just for the sake of trying to go through there, because I don't feel like getting whatever they have going on back there. So this is historic Schaefferstown. We'll go through a couple of the streets. We were just visiting the Cherry Festival a couple weekends ago at the historic Alexander Schaefer Farm, also known as the Brendel Farm, because they came in and bought that later. And then one of the Brendels, he was had his notoriety, or what he was very well known for, was for folk, preserving the folk stories, and especially German folklore, and putting it down on paper. But his family, I think he was even a pastor, if I remember correctly. And you see it's Stiegel Pike. That's named after Henry William Stiegel, who we've been doing a bunch of videos on. I actually want to go up to Water Company because he's a very eccentric and unique guy. And he had like basically a pyramid-shaped wooden tower that had a cannon at the top. And whenever he would leave town or he'd come to town, they would fire this cannon, supposedly. Now, whether that's true or it's just urban myth, legend, folklore of the region here, I don't know. But he was a really interesting guy, and they actually had a house up here that his brother and his mother lived in. And I heard this place is really cool. I think that's Tweed Weasel. Yeah, it's pretty neat, primitive like stuff, like folk art and crafts and that type of stuff. But a lot of history through the town here. We visited St. Luke's Lutheran Church, which was a Revolutionary War hospital. I forget which battle that was for, or if it was just hospital in general. But this would be the Reformed Church, I believe, which would be now United Church of Christ, and the United Methodist over there. But just beautiful, beautiful churches. Yep, that's United Church of Christ, St. Paul's. And then we will go through here. There's the old fire station. A lot of cool stone buildings, and boom, now known as Heidelberg Hall, but that was the Weagley Mansion. So we're gonna park over here, and then I think we're gonna do a little bit of a walkie walk. But first, I think we're gonna drive around because I'm not sure. That used to be an antique store, and there's another really stunning mansion. So I think we may park up here. Oh, yeah, at the water company. And then if I can find a parking spot. This is called Fountain Park. So we're gonna go up there. This is where supposedly that thing was. And it's no longer there, but interesting guy for sure. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for coming along on another adventure. I'm going to try to figure out, I might do a walking, but I need to have a place I can actually park, and I can't see one right now. But I'm going to spin this thing around. I'm going to head back home, and thank you as always for coming along, and we will see you all about town.